Traveling the Vortex.
We've joined the Doctor as he travels the Vortex and landed episode number 251. Much like the universe, this podcast is full of testosterone. I'm Keith.
I'm Sean.
I'm Glenn.
How are you guys?
Full of testosterone.
Did you guys have a good week?
I did, yeah.
Yep.
What's in the news, Keith?
Some good news this week. John Hurt's cancer is in remission.
Yay!
He had recently had a final scan, and his oncologist said it's all gone brilliantly. He's overjoyed. He's thrilled. It all looks great for the future. It's fantastic, he says.
We are very excited about that. I think there's still a lot of good years in John Hurt.
Yes.
And he seems to be making kind of this Renaissance resurgence as far as things that he's doing. And it's more because we've seen him come to Doctor Who as of recently. He was Ollivander in the Harry Potter films, and so he's seen a real resurgence in pop culture level things. So,
Has he ever really gone away, though?
well,
For some
as
people,
far as
perhaps.
as far as mainstream pop culture, I think he has, because it was kind of big in the 80s and 90s. I think they're in the late 90s, early 2000s. You didn't see him in a lot of like big feature films. And then I think when he was cast as Ollivander, that kind of brought him back up. And obviously,
Too bad he didn't have a
Doctor
bigger
Who.
role as Ollivander.
Now that's from American perspective,
And the voice of the Sorting Hat.
yeah, that's from a American
really
perspective, because in the UK they've probably seen him doing projects for years and years, because he's done more of those what would be mainstream over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, here I think we're starting to see a resurgence.
Yeah, well, I think starting back from Hellboy up.
Hellboy, yeah.
Yeah, it was where he started, because it was Hellboy, View for Vendetta, and then...
Oh, I forgot he was in V for Vendetta, though. Yeah, that was the early 2000s.
Yeah, that was 2006, I think. But around the time that he started with Harry Potter, too,
Yeah.
so... He's a brilliant actor, and I want him to live a long time.
I do too, especially since now
Indiana Jones
they've got him
Kingdom
doing
of the
some
Crystal Skull.
doing some mainstream doing some more Big Finish. So that'll be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's it for news. Shall we move on to our Doctor Who legacy?
Tip of the week.
Dan sent in a Doctor Who legacy tip of the week up to us. He says, "Hey guys, it's been a while since I've sent some proper feedback, and this still isn't it. But I feel bad when you don't have a Doctor Who legacy tip of the week. Here's something I've been doing that works for me. This is how I've managed my teams. Knowing that the character's experience needs certain fragments to advance at 10, 20, 30, 40, and now 50, I've separated my characters by rank. I have a team for 1 through 9, a team for 10 through 19, another for 20 through 29, and so on. I try to use each color of a character, red, yellow, blue, black, green, to fill out the team, if possible. And yes, I have purchased a few extra team slots to do this. As the individual characters build up their experience to the max, I will upgrade them if I have the fragments available. Then, upgraded or not, I put them back into holding and swap in another character that needs a similar level of game experience. The same goes for the other teams. As a character reaches level 30, back they go, and I look for another 20-something, and of the same color if I can. I'll use the lower ranked teams to farm for fragments on the level 20, or I'll play whatever section offers bonus experience points and work them up the levels. This also gives me a chance to grab some odd character or costume that I missed the first time through. The same goes for rank 20 and 30 teams and the more difficult levels. Ranks 40 and 50 became the basis of my tank teams, as Sean coined the term already. This eventually gives the tank teams a diverse pool of abilities for me to choose from. Then I have some character experience working with each character. I have some experience working with each character and how to use them with other characters. Example, one character changes gems to yellow, and another increases all yellow gems by 15. Hey, a bonus tip. Eventually, I'd like to send you a Doctor Who, a summary of the local Doctor Who theme night held at one of our local restaurants. So much fun. Thanks again, guys, and keep up the great work. Seriously, I look forward to the podcast each week. Your listener in Central Illinois, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks
Dan.
for that tip. And that's our Doctor Who legacy. Do you want to talk about it?
I think it's a great tip.
It is a great
I think
tip.
it's
It's a really good way to go.
I never thought about like setting teams up at tiered levels. That's kind of a clever idea.
Yeah.
I've done. I think we've all kind of done variations of that with just leveling up individual characters and swapping them out on a team, but not building the team from the ground up specifically to handle
normally
that,
what I
which is
do is I
genius.
bring in 3 level 50 or above now teammates, and then I stack 2 lower ones on there just to get their ranks up. But I've never thought about having several different tiers of levels, and then swapping out once they get to that level, and and in the identical color. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea too. So, because then you can play through different characters that have different abilities and learn those abilities that you may have set aside for years, and you don't really haven't played with those abilities. Suddenly, you're forced to play with those abilities and learn them and know what they do and see what their advantages are when you actually get them to another team. So. It's a good idea.
It's a very good idea.
It is a really good.
That's your Doctor Who legacy.
Tip of the week.
Well, shall we move on to feedback? First up in feedback is Robert.
Nope.
Yeah, it is.
First up in feedback is Robert.
Robert writes, "Hey guys, I sent feedback for 250, but it might not have gotten through. I was having email problems on my end. First, I wanted to say how great it was to see the 3 of you at Time Eddy. I'm glad that you had such a good time and were able to meet everyone you wanted to meet. Thanks for letting me sit on our podcast Thank you for letting me sit in on the podcast discussion you had on Sunday morning. A few days after the con, I went to KPTS, the Wichita PBS station for those outside Kansas. I was there to get information about the airing of Who back in the 1980s and 90s. And I and a friend there looked through the program guides. I was able to put together a picture of what aired at what times. I did this for a site called Broad WCast. He's got it. BROAD, capital DW, cast. Oh, I get it.
Broad Doctor Who cast.
There you go. Broad Doctor Who cast. The site I'm putting together information on when Who aired around the world. You may have heard Stephen of RFS talking about it. I encourage you everyone else, to help out with the site if you can. Here's the site address, and then I'll include that into the show notes. That's all for now, Robert. Well, that's cool. I'd never even heard of that.
Yeah, me neither.
Robert went to my spam mail for some reason. Not spam. There we go. And
That explains why you couldn't find it.
that's why I couldn't find it. And it'll be late now, but happy birthday, Robert.
Yeah.
Yes, happy birthday.
And it was great to see you at Time Eddy too. Up next in feedback is Holly.
Holly writes, "The Girl Who Died. Hey guys, I have to say I loved this episode. The sonic glasses are no more. Makes me wonder if the Doctor's going to come up with another pair of sunglasses, or make himself a new sonic screwdriver, or go without anything sonic for a while. I'm also liking, what's her name? Ashilda?
A shield.
Ashilda.
Ashilda.
A shield.
A shield.
Yeah, a shield.
The R is silent.
I don't think there was a duh, was there? Or was it
A shield.
A shield.
A shield.
Well, I kept thinking they were calling her Shield.
Yeah, I did too.
And it wasn't until later in the episode that they were putting the at the beginning of it. I think it's a shield.
Okay.
It just spelled weird.
Maisie Williams. The interactions that she had with both Claire and the Doctor were great. We also got to hear the Doctor speaking baby. We got to reverse the polarity.
A shielder.
A shielder.
Yeah, the R is there. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
it is there.
It is a shield.
Okay. She spelled it right. I just didn't know.
Yeah, I kept thinking they were calling her Shielder, and then realized that they were saying a shielder. Yeah, shielder.
Reverse the polarity of the neutron flow line, and also a tie back to the fires of Pompeii. Also, was it just me, or did Odin look a little like the pirate captain from the Pirate Planet episode in the Key to Time series?
It's that eyepiece.
Well, I wrap it up here. Looking forward to hearing everyone's thoughts on this episode, and looking forward to what lies ahead for next week's episode. Holly from Wisconsin. And thank you, Holly.
Thank you, Holly.
We'll get to our reviews momentarily.
And finally, Chrissy. Chrissy writes, R.I.P. Sonic sunglasses. Sort of. Dear Vortex boys, first thing I thought when that one Viking snapped the Sonic sunglasses was, well, that'll make people happy. And then pieces became sort of a plot point, but it wasn't too bad. Anyway, the girl who died. I quite liked this episode. It felt like a one-off story with the fake Odin and the robots attacking the Viking village. That was all kinds of silly and just plain fun. And I like it when Doctor Who indulges in silliness once in a while. Makes a nice break from the heavy stuff. But then we have the super serious turn with the death of
A shielder.
a shielder. I'm not even sure if I spelled that right, she says.
She put the R in the end.
So did Holly.
Yeah, she put ER in the end.
Yeah.
That's what triggered my brain. Went, oh no, she's right. It's a shielder.
And the Doctor turning her into a not Time Lord. At first I thought she had become a Time Lordish human with the ability to regenerate, kind of like River. But then I decided that wasn't what happened, so who knows. Also, love the explanation they gave for the 12th Doctor having the face of someone he's met before. Not only met, but saved from a fixed point in time. Pompeii was clearly a pivotal moment for the Doctor, and I like that they managed to incorporate that in the story. This also gives me an excuse to show my boyfriend the fires of Pompeii. He's been watching Series 9 with me, and he's enjoying it so far. We binge-watched Series 8 on our first 3 dates. He really likes Peter Capaldi. He hasn't had a chance to see much of the 12th Doctor and Donna, so I need to fix that. 10th Doctor and Donna, so I need to fix that. All in all, an enjoyable episode with a great first half of this story. Can't wait for next week's conclusion. See you all next week. Chrissy.
Is she coming here?
Yeah.
I guess so.
All right. Well,
She
yo,
can
we're
sit on
looking
your
forward
couch,
to
right?
seeing you next week too, Chrissy.
Your couch is free, right?
Sure. If she wants to stay on a couch, she can. We got room. I got a couch upstairs and a couch downstairs.
Oh, there you go. 2 couches.
Yeah.
You can push them together and make a big bed.
What? We'd have to take the upstairs couch downstairs because the reason the couch downstairs is down. No, yes, because the reason the couch downstairs is downstairs is because we couldn't get the couch that's upstairs into the downstairs, so that's why it's upstairs, and the couch from upstairs went downstairs originally.
So we have to go up or down?
Up. Couch downstairs has to go upstairs.
Well, then that's not going to work at all. Forget I said anything. If it was down, I would totally come over and help.
Oh, I see.
I would just push
Well,
and jump on.
If it's
and
any
ride it down
consolation,
stairs.
the couch downstairs is lighter than the couch upstairs because the couch upstairs is a sleeper sofa. Oh, we don't have to. We don't have to put them together. We just pull the sofa out.
I'm glad I can help you jog your memory
I
back to
have a
furniture
sleeper
going.
sofa. Well, we've only used it like once because Caitlin had a sleepover. It's a sleeper sofa. Yeah. Never mind.
There should be more violins on television.
All right.
Shall we move on to our review?
What are we reviewing?
The Girl Who Died.
Sort of.
Captured by Vikings, the Doctor and Clara must help protect their village from space warriors from the future, the Mire. Outnumbered and outgunned, their fate seems inevitable. So why is the Doctor preoccupied with a single Viking girl?
Dun, dun, dun!
Sure.
Oh, Glenn didn't like it.
Oh, yeah, it was good. It was good. It wasn't the best story this season, but it was good.
No.
This
It was enjoyable.
This is my least favorite out of the season.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's my least favorite out of this season. It was still good.
I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun watching it, but then walking away from it, it was like, well, that was that.
Yeah.
Coming
I was
up, we'll
kinda the
tell you
same
why
way.
they're wrong.
I was kind of that is that.
And I enjoyed it, and there was nothing wrong with it. It just maybe because the last we've reached a point in the series so far, 4 episodes down, 2 stories, and while next week looks like, next week is going to be tied in. This felt more like a standalone story than anything else.
This is the non-traditional 2-parter.
Yes,
Because
Very
the first 2
non-traditional.
were very cliffhangery, very 2-parter-ish. This one, yes, it really did feel like it's obviously the part of a bigger story arc.
but the next episode could be later this season. It doesn't have to be next.
Could be, yeah, it is, but it could, yeah, it could be. So yeah, that was a neat element. what was quite interesting to me was I really liked the premise. I liked the setup. I like that all of the warriors in this one village are dispatched immediately.
Because Vikings, you think of great warriors.
And that this Odin character, this fake Odin, is actually basically drinking their testosterone and strength from them. And that's the idea of it. And I like that the weak that are left behind have to rise up and battle. And I love the whole idea. What was weird to me is it really felt like, for me, it felt like about a 30-minute episode. It felt really short, because you kind of get to the climax of everything right away.
Yeah.
He sort of figures out what he's going to do,
you get that
what
big
he needs
fight.
to do. And when he realizes that the eels are going to be they're the MacGuffin. They're going to be the thing that they use to take these guys down.
Fix all.
And then it just happens, and there doesn't seem to be any ramifications. There's no surprises, and then they're dispatched, and he runs off, and they've tricked him, and he won't run out. He won't run out and tell people, which was awesome because the doctor was so worried about if he changes this, if he does beat them, they run off, and then they because there's tales of the conflict, that people would come back here earlier than they normally do in the progress of time. And so he's trying to figure out how to... And he does it. And he dispatches them in a perfect way as far as making the recording of them being, scared of a puppet, which I thought was great. and then it's done and it's over. And you're thinking, yay, and they're celebrating. And you're like, that was easy and unusual. And then they drop the heavy. And when she's died and she's in the mask. And then I thought, aha, here's this is what I didn't see coming. I really didn't. Even from the title, The Girl That Died. I didn't see that coming.
I forgot about the title halfway through.
And so when that happens, then I think that kind of really ramped my expectation of the episode up. And I like from that point on, and the solution and him going to the whole remembering why he's or knowing why
part of the episode.
The face. That's why he chose that face is because it was a reminder that he can do he can break the rules every once in a while,
which is so great on the heels of the 50th and everything that he went through in the growth of the character. So perfect.
Yeah. So I really liked that, and I liked the fact that he brought the Gallifreyan mid pack and revamped it so that it would,
Okay, I wasn't quite sure where that came from. I only got to watch this episode once.
It wasn't Gallifreyan. It was he took it out of the helmet.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he said it came out of my helmet.
The helmet.
The helmet.
Then I thought he said was a Gallifreyan med pack. I thought he called it a Gallifreyan med pack.
I don't think so.
Then he said maybe it was their med pack then.
Yeah,
so
because he pulled it out of the Warriors.
Okay, so he must have said that. And then, anyway, giving her the med pack and giving her that, bringing her back to life. And then I thought, okay, that was really kind of clever, because my first thought was, okay, he's going to go get in the he's going to get in the TARDIS and he's going to change time. Well, that's what he's been trying to avoid this whole time. Yeah, but he decided, okay, I can break a rule every once in a while. So then I thought, okay, well, that's what he's going to do. But then when he gets the med pack and puts it in her, then I was like, oh, that's perfect, because then he's only changing that one event. He's only changing that one life. It's much like Pompeii, where he didn't really change. He changed history, but he did it in such a subtle way that it was more of a ripple and not a tidal wave. And I thought, this is perfect. It's worked out just right. Now, it's obviously going to have ramifications down the road. We're going to see that happen. But so I like that. That was a cool aspect. And then he gave her the second one, and I thought, why is he giving her another one? What would she need that for? And then when he explains it...
As soon as he dropped the line of, it'll keep healing you, I knew, that's why he gave it.
Well, none
of that was a surprise to me.
It kind of, when he gave it to her, he even says for somebody else, or somebody she chooses. And I kind of thought, aha, so that's so if she meets somebody. So I thought it out. And if that meets somebody, she can give it to them. They can live a long life together. Because that's something that the doctor doesn't get. And so I thought that's very cool. And then it solidified it when he explained it to Clara. And so
I've always liked
that I really, really liked about this. So that made that episode, whoa, that was really cool. But it was that whole first part that was a lot of fun, and I quite enjoyed, but then it was just kind of, okay, so that happened. But at the end of it really made the payoff of it. But overall, it wasn't a gripping from beginning to end like all the other episodes have been, and then the great reveals. I absolutely loved the reversing the polarity line. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I love that he what does he say after that? That just kind of like shoves it aside, like that. What did he say?
Something to the effect of "Don't know what it means." It just sounds good.
Don't know what it means, but it sounds good. And I thought, oh, that is such a clever line. It's like we're dropping this in here, but it doesn't mean a damn thing.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
And the 2,000-year diary.
The 2,000-year diary was a nice fan moment. I'm really talking all excited about this episode, like it was the greatest episode of the season, but it was fun.
It was
good.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. The tone
didn't
felt like the prologue.
I
Not the first prologue, but the second prologue we got for the whole series.
Oh, the Magician's
the Doctor's Meditation.
Yeah, Doctor's Meditation.
I kind of wish we'd gotten Maisie Williams as a modern person. I would like to see her not be in a period piece. I want to see her act in modern day setting.
I think we will. I think that's coming. Although it seems the next one's
not current modern day.
Yeah.
I just that just struck me while watching the episode was she really got typecast, didn't she?
Except for I don't think she did. Because
I think she's going to get to do more.
What's her character's name in Game of Thrones? It keeps escaping me.
Arya.
Okay, so Arya's like this real badass now. Okay,
but
like,
she got to grow to that.
But yeah, she did. So this is shades of Arya from early Game of Thrones. But I'm so sitting there, and she's like all worried and scared and everything. I'm like, this is the Arya I know. This isn't the Arya I know. Then I have to go, oh, no, this is Doctor Who. This is Game of Thrones.
See,
it's not Arya.
I don't want to have to remind myself that it's not Arya.
I know, but he can't help it now because she's such a phenomenal part of Game of Thrones. So I keep watching her going, no, she's not Arya.
If she's not in period, you might not have that problem.
That could be.
I don't know.
Game of Thrones isn't really period either.
Not really.
It's fantasy.
So. It's fantasy, period fantasy. They don't have electricity or anything.
It's period.
But she did a great job in the role, I thought. With that fear of...
It's period as much as like the Middle Earth films are. That's not a period piece either.
Sure it is.
It's fantasy.
Rivendell did not have electricity.
No, they didn't. But that doesn't make it. It does not make it a period piece.
Did they travel by horseback? Period piece.
That's not the definition.
Was there an inn with a wooden sign dangling out the front? Period piece.
Yeah, no, not a period piece. Doesn't work.
Was it set in modern times?
Yes.
They're modern.
For them. No. This Doctor Who.
We are the West that they have gone into. When he says, we're going to go into the West, we are the West.
No.
Yes.
Have you seen a map of Westeros?
Yes. Well, they're not... well, yeah.
It's nothing like any part of topographical Earth at all.
That's my point exactly.
That's
Continental drift has changed. It's a period piece.
No, it took place before Pangea.
Yeah.
Or it took place during Pangea.
Yeah.
Well, see, then that would have been far advanced as to where they came after the continents divided, because then they would have had to have regressed because we were very primitive.
They did.
Obviously, the dragons come out and wipe everyone out.
Ah, is that it?
We got to climb back out of the ooze.
Doesn't work. It's not a period piece.
Do you not know your history?
Very well. Apparently, you don't.
What's the one that begins the Seventh Age? I mean, yeah. Extinction events happen. The world changes. You move on.
Not a period piece.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Period piece. Anyway. So here's why you're wrong. This is a great episode. Not just fun. Not just cool. Not just, yeah, I liked it. No, this is a great episode. In fact, maybe not Magician's Apprentice level awesome.
Well, you're going to have to convince me why it was better than anything this season.
But that good.
Now, I will say it was a great character growth for the Doctor. And that's what
I agree with that.
Admittedly, a lot of where I think this is great does hinge on the potential of what winds up happening in the next episode. Because of
what happens in the next episode might make this great, I agree.
Yeah. But I first of all, the tone is phenomenal. It's a fun episode to watch. Yep. I enjoy the romps. And I think Jimmy Matheson did just a knockout job giving us something that could have been, I don't know, could have been a Stargate episode, could have been a this episode. We've got fake Odin up in the sky, which, man, I really wish we'd have gotten Brian Blessed for that. That would have been so
They
cool.
tried.
I know, but
He had something else going on.
once he showed up, I mean, what a great reveal.
After the Doctor tries to be Odin.
He doesn't have a yo-yo. He's not Odin. He doesn't have a yo-yo.
You want a great entrance for Doctor Who. How great is this? I am the god Odin. And then the skies light up and the heavens open and the Monty Python Odin says, no, I am Odin. And it's like, this is the greatest entrance in Doctor Who history. Look at this guy. It could have been Brian Blessed and even better.
I thought it was a little trite, but yeah.
No, it was a Monty Python joke. It looked like God and Holy Grail. I mean, it was right there. So then, we get this. That was just fantastic. We get a fun bit with Clara, which Clara's being the companion in the last couple of episodes, which is great. This is it. This is what I want from my companion. I want them to come up when things are tough and the chips are down. I want her to be, or him, to be able to go up to the Doctor and say, "Do what you do, man. Just go fix it. Find a way to make this work. I'll check in on you later." Okay. That's just
a good element.
Yes.
I also really like the aspect of the Doctor has such faith in Clara and his companion that she fixed it. We're good.
Yeah.
And she tried.
She comes back.
And she almost did.
Oh, she would.
Yeah,
She
would have.
She would have.
Right there on track.
It would have been a
Shield-
15-minute episode.
Yeah, if a shielder hadn't piped up, it would have been over.
So, there's that. So then we get all of the fun.
This has really got the tone of Robot of Sherwood in the first half.
But I think it is way better done than Robot.
I think so, too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think the story is better, and I think maybe not pacing, but because you're right, it's got elements of that. This is where they were trying to hit with Robot of Sherwood, but didn't quite get there.
I would agree with that.
And this was the way to have done it. So we get this. There's not enough good in this to talk about. Look at all the great here. So
You haven't showed me any great yet.
Oh, it's all been
ahead.
great, sure. So we get
going.
all of the fun New Who jokes in this. We get Talking Baby. We get nicknames for everybody that your little
and Talking Baby used to a dramatic fashion that we haven't had before, which I
That's what I really liked about it. Is it wasn't a throwaway joke.
Yeah.
It was more of a relevance to the plot, and I liked that.
Yeah.
It took the He Speaks Baby serious,
Yeah.
and that was cool.
and
And the moment when it stops crying, when he decides he's staying.
And Clara picks up on it. And, oh, you're staying. And, the baby stopped crying. And off she goes. It's just like, this is so great. I love the montage training scene, which, of course, every onslaught on the village, we're going to get this montage training scene. And usually it's a little more heroic. Even in an Army of Darkness style film where you're taking farmers and going to make them, you get this moment. And we set the village on fire.
Which let me deviate just a bit, because in the trailer it showed them like with the swords like hitting each other and doing kind of pratfall type comic shtick. I didn't see that in the episode.
I didn't either. I think
I wonder if it got cut.
I bet it did.
Because they cut from the whole him telling them what they were going to do to the village being on fire and the two guys passed out. And I thought that was cool. I like how they cut that together.
Edit.
And it was great that Clara fills us as a viewer in on what happened. I loved that. But I thought it was weird that they cut that scene that I saw several times in the trailer to this.
Didn't
So
miss
that
it.
was kind
I think they did it for the comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, didn't miss it. Didn't need it. It was
It obviously
And the Doctor's reaction to it all.
It obviously worked better as we're going to give you a tease of what's going to happen by using the clip, but making it even better storytelling by not letting you see what happened.
So we get that, and then we get the big revelation in the eels, and it's like, okay, how is this going to work? All right,
That was a nice aha moment. I like that.
and we get a Three Amigos moment. we what can your village do? We can sew. All right.
Yeah.
Well, what have you got? We've got eels. Okay, this is it. Perfect. I'm not with you, Doc, but I can't wait to see how you're going to turn this around. So the guy comes down, and he's got the army. And I love the robots. The design of the robot, they're not robots. That was the cool thing, is they looked like robots. And I almost thought, hey, these are a little derivative of the Solomon robots from Dinosaurs on a Spaceship.
Oh,
sure. They're kind of the big blocky.
Yeah.
Sarah
They're
thought
still
they
cool.
might be like Jadoon.
I thought they were more like the ones in Robot of Sherwood. I thought they were more like that type of robot.
Yeah, the heads
But then,
were a lot
well, that's
bigger.
just it.
Not the look, but just in the style and the brooding and the
Stomping.
foreboding and the stomping.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
It's very
They
much
reminded
more
me
like
of something from Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah.
a little bit.
The newer movie.
Yeah.
The Sam Rockwell film.
Yeah. I can't think of what they are. I don't know why. It's not important. I can't stop my brain
The
from trying.
Vogons?
The Vogon. Thank you.
Vogon, excuse me.
Those.
An R in
Yeah.
there, like Daleks.
Darlak. So we get
Vogons.
a cool robot, but they're not robots. Then first of all, we electrocuted them with the eels, which is cool. But no, then we went even better. We actually built an electron magnet. And I'm sorry.
Sucked their helmets off.
This is like Doc Brown spending 6 weeks in the past building a refrigerator to get one cube of ice.
Yeah.
The doctors cobbled this thing together, and he built an electron magnet out of eels. Score. This is
Well, I love how he
awesome.
telegraphed that they had to get a helmet.
Yeah.
We need one of the helmets.
We need a helmet. How are we going to do it? Eels. So we get the helmet, and there's an actual thing in there. That was what I was like. Oh, and it was a cool thing. It was yet another design triumph for the alien making team. It was just a cool.
We haven't had an anthropomorphized alien this entire series.
Don't jinx this.
Well, we know we're getting some sort of cat thing coming up soon, so or tiger or cougar or lion or whatever it is.
So that's a
Cheeto.
check mark in the awesome box.
Something in the feline family.
And then show him the story. So she puts the helmet on, and then a dragon. The dragon should have breathed fire. That's kind of my one complaint. The big serpent thing coming up in the room.
Well,
But
it was a giant eel.
Sea serpent.
okay,
No, it was an eel.
Was it an eel?
I thought so.
It looked
a giant eel.
It looked like the sea serpent from the wall in Under the Lake.
Oh, it totally did.
Yeah, now you say that, it does. It does kind of look like that.
I mean, the
I wonder if
face-
that'll be a tieback.
Maybe, I don't know. The face of the mural
Yeah,
had
you're right.
shades
Yeah.
of
you're
it
right.
and
Oh.
Well, and
Fisher
they
King
were on a
together.
big schooner ship too in that, which would have been
Which it
similar
was
to the
Viking-esque,
longboat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That actually works with my theory. This episode's even better than I thought. Okay. So, and we do this, and we fool them. And it's this very simple...
Why didn't I catch that? We
Fooled
just
you.
rewatched the other two because Holly and Mason hadn't seen them, so we watched those on Saturday, and then we watched this one tonight.
Probably because you'd seen clips of it before in the trailers.
Huh?
The thing that comes to the serpent or whatever that
Yeah.
comes to it's in the trailers. So it
Yeah,
wasn't
but
in the
I'm surprised I didn't connect the
Can-
two because
yeah.
I'd watched them so recently.
Just in proximity.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't, but... So, it's
I
just...
like that you noticed that. That's cool.
Yeah. It's just great. It's top to bottom great.
Probably means nothing. Who
And
knows?
then...
Who knows?
Depression
Who knows?
sets in. Because Maisie Williams is dead. I don't know what her character name is.
A shielder.
She's got stuck in the helmet. And the doctor has this look. Like maybe he expected it.
Yeah. I kind of
Which
got that impression
tore
too.
me up. That it's not the happy ending. It's not the... I mean, well, not that it was a happy ending. We lost half the village already, but...
But they start to sell it that way. But then he walks off and he has the conversation about, why do I always lose? And so I kind of got the impression that it wasn't his intention. That he thought this was going to be the one time that he did do everything
Right,
right.
yeah. No, I don't think he...
That was a great speech.
I don't think he planned it.
Speech. Yeah.
But he wasn't surprised by it. And it just... Oh, my heart went out for him there.
I think part
But it
of-
was
I
more
think
that
part
he
of
wasn't
the-
surprised by it because of the fact that he's used to losing in all
Yeah,
these battles.
that's what I was just
Yeah.
about to say.
And then he gets the great tie-in, which you didn't join us for Friday Night Who, so you missed my grand opus statement.
He called it
Called it.
at the end of the tweeting.
We were watching Fires of Pompeii for Friday Night Who.
We called this a long time ago that this would be the episode with the review.
No. I know why. I called
He
why.
called why.
I mean, I called it a day early, but I called it.
Okay.
And I said, I think that's it. I think that's the reason. Watching this episode and watching Donna
Oh, the reason that he could break the rules. That was the
reason
The
that
reason
he
why
has
he chose that
face.
right.
Who frowned me this face? Why? It's like I'm trying to tell myself something. I figured it out Friday night after we watched Fires of Pompeii when Donna's pleading with David Tennant, just save one person, just save somebody, just do something, and he goes back and saves the family. And I said, "That's it. That's why he chose that. It's a reminder to him
that every once in a while he can break the rules.
It's not necessarily breaking the rules,
but
it's a reminder to him to keep Donna's spirit alive, or not spirit, but her message of." Just save somebody.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter how bleak it is. It doesn't matter how impossible it is. Just save somebody.
Gotcha.
And that's the visual reminder. That's what I took from it. And then he says, "I figured it out." And he started to kind of go up into this Time Lord victorious moment. And I was like, "Dude, don't go
all 10 on us, please.
Don't get too high here." But then he charges off, and I'm kind of like you. I'm expecting it. Well, we've got... Oh, and a brilliant piece of let's not just take the TARDIS out of play. And the Sonic.
Let's put it 2 days away.
Yeah.
On a longboat.
Away.
On a longboat journey.
And breaking the sunglasses. Which I had Chrissy's reaction as well. I was like, wow, half of fandom just went nuts with excitement. Everybody else was going, that was quick. But
there was a number of people that went, "Oh, I like the Sonic glasses."
But this is one of those things that we've always talked about: is that we've got to get rid of the TARDIS, and we've got to to handicap him a little bit and have him kind of brought down to a manageable level where he has to solve a problem without the godlike gifts. And they did that right off the bat. We're taking away the Sonic, although they kind of still worked, but it was more plot element wise.
Well, and it was still very early on because it was what got her out of the chains, and then it was what was going to convince the Odin guy to go away in the first place because they had the technology,
right?
But then,
but again, that's more of a plot point than a look at me. I have my magic wand.
Right. No.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is then that was it. We didn't see the Sonic.
I don't get why Clara felt the need in the middle of that bit that she had to be free of the chains.
She's being the Doctor still. I think that was her moment of the Doctor's realizing that she's going too far. She's trying. Even when they have the comment about her saying, "Well, you're my hobby," she's going further than any other companion and going out of the Doctor's comfort zone. That was another. I think that was another moment to tell us that Clara's really going further than any companion's ever gone. That she's going beyond. She's looking for that adventure. She's addicted to that, and so now she's doing the problem solving, which I thought was surprising when she comes back and the Doctor goes, "Oh, she fixed it." I was like, it actually worked, But so I was surprised that he was a little almost joyous of that.
Well, and he runs over and gives her the thumbs up. I'm about to hug her. Come here,
And he picks her up and hugs her.
And I like the fact that he's still prickly, but he's softened his stance so much, even to the point where they have the heart-to-heart.
Sure.
And he's kind of explaining to her about this is what immortality is like, is that one day you're going to leave, and, I'll run away again.
I really liked that.
Yeah. It was top to bottom. I thought this was just an exceptionally well-written show by people who get Doctor Who. And we kind of said that with the last Jamie Matheson, that it just, even though he's never done it before, it just felt
especially
like...
Orient.
Yeah. It just felt like he knew what to do with it. And whether you include Moffat's tinkering, if you want to look at it as tinkering, or structuring, that he had certain elements that he said, okay, maybe Jamie Matheson, I don't know how this came about, but maybe Jamie Matheson said, hey, I've got this story, I want to do Vikings. And Moffat said, fantastic, go write it, but you've got to do this, 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 and this.
And it feels like what happened.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. It still doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that both... It's well written from top to bottom by people who get the show and get these characters. And so that just upped the level of enjoyment as well. So then we get he comes back and he puts the med pack on her and fixes her. And he gets that victory. Yay! But you can tell he's not, it's a hollow victory.
Yeah.
It's a Pyrrhic victory because he knows what he's done to her.
He's still a little uneasy about it. Yes.
Yeah. And the talk about tidal waves, I think, is so apt because where I see the potential for what's happening, which we got just a little hint of with the Highwayman in the next episode, which is obviously it's Maisie Williams. But correct me if I'm wrong, but Highwaymen in the Victorian England or whatever period that is, far removed from Viking.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So this is going to be 400-600 years later.
Yes.
And she's still a little girl.
Well,
So it's
I
not
get the
just the fact
impression-
that she's immortal. It's the fact that she's like that vampire chick. And
I get the impression that this
Vampire.
was this would have been Norse times prior to them invading England.
Yeah. So he knows what potentially he set her up for. And the ramifications of that he's created someone that is not just going to be, she may be immortal, like for reals.
Right.
Not just regenerative, not just this, but forever. And then it hit me. Now, this is where I don't know how spoilerish this could be, but went back to the prophecy from Magician's
Right.
Well,
Because
they gave us that little bit
that
of...
obviously was
and the very
the
obvious
setup for
time
the
where they say hybrid.
when he says hybrid. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you dropped the one. So I went back, and I have to pull this up.
See,
here.
I think the hybrid line was a misdirection in this episode.
I don't think so. I think the misdirection was mine when I was talking about how in the Witch is Familiar, where I was thinking that perhaps that Clara got the regenerative abilities that was endowed on the Daleks, that she got some of that she was the hybrid, and she's the answer to the prophecy. But I don't think that's the case now. I think that episode set up the hybrid idea. This was the payoff that, here's the hybrid. I don't think it's a red
I think
herring.
it's too early in the season to get the payoff.
We're halfway through nearly.
Next week will be halfway.
Yeah,
Next week will be
that's what I say. Nick, I don't think it was too early at all. I think this is it.
Especially if this is the long game, which it's something Moffat's very much kept alive from the Russell T Davies era, that we didn't necessarily know Bad Wolf was going to be a thing until the Doctor said, "Bad Wolf, why do we keep running into Bad Wolf?" And all of a sudden we all went, "Oh my God, yeah, we keep running into this." Then we started looking for it, but this is the hybrid season.
Yeah.
So this is where we're apparently going with this. And I still can't find the actual quote, but the closest I can come is a synopsis of Which is Familiar. Davros starts telling the Doctor about a prophecy on Gallifrey about a hybrid that Davros believes to be half Dalek and half Time Lord, and asks if the Doctor has been running from his part in that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I went, 20 minutes later, where did he put that patch?
Oh, yeah, on her forehead.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I know, right? I think this is the start of that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I
And
do like that.
I
Yeah.
wonder...
That's a good... Yeah.
I wonder
Postulation.
if the other one, for her to give to whom she chooses, maybe isn't going to wind up being a young Davros, because they're about the same age. And it would explain why he's been able to survive just about everything that's been thrown at him.
Yeah. I don't know.
That might be a bit of a stretch, but it does fit in with other elements that I think we're kind of... I think we're going to see the Daleks again this season.
It works
I really
in the
do.
sense... I definitely think we'll see the Daleks again this season. It works in the sense that we did set the season up with Davros. That seems to me a little too far unlikely that it'll be him, but that might play out. I'll pat you on the back if that's the case. But
so again, a lot of the episode in and of itself, it's great. I agree with you. It feels like a standalone. It feels like it doesn't really have much carryover in the way it doesn't have that cliffhanger. But I think this is the one that's given us the quiet. Whereas we started with that thunderclap in the season with Davros, this is the one that's kind of the rolling thunder aftershock that's coming out.
I'll give you that.
And I think the potential
I think,
for where
I think
this
everything
ends
you're saying is
might
spot
wind up
on,
being there.
but I don't think it made it a great episode. I think it had wonderfully great moments, but overall,
it was decent building
the
blocks.
episode was a vehicle for the moments, and so that's why I don't think it was a great episode.
Maybe I'm higher on it because of, and as I said last week, the trailer for this one was kind of like,
Yeah,
and I was excited.
You went into expecting less.
So maybe that was it. Maybe it was because my expectations were set here, and we got something that I'm elevating it up here. I'm willing to admit that that's a possibility. But
I think it's also because you got the got it right about why he chose.
Oh,
that
even
face.
that. I mean, I didn't dance
felt
around,
vindicated.
but there may have been a little internal fist pump. But it was
Easter Saturday.
it was still just a matter of
Yeah.
cool. Now it doesn't explain Frobisher, but yeah.
I didn't think they were going to explain Frobisher.
No.
I knew they would tie in calculus. Is that who that was?
Yeah, I think
I
I don't
didn't
think it was calculus. It was something like that.
Okay,
it wasn't
Whoever
calculon,
it was. No,
which is what I want to call
I thought
it.
it was calculus, but yeah, if they, oh wait, calculus is the one that invented math. What?
Yeah, that's why
I am
think it's
crossbreeding
calculus.
I am crossbreeding the name.
Really,
Calcius.
Maybe that's it. Because it's rock, right? He's the marble merchant.
Started
Calcius
with
would make sense.
It
He'd have
started
callus
with
hands.
a C.
Really,
It does start with a C. I had it here. Calcius,
Calcius. Yeah.
if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
really, really, really hard to watch Fires of Pompeii now without just completely seeing the 12th Doctor is trolling the 10th. It's very difficult because all of the lines
Well,
that
now
he
it shouldn't be because
it shouldn't
they've
be. Yeah,
explained
they've
it.
explained it away, so it shouldn't fit
But
at
his
all.
performance is just.
But just watching him, even the fact that he buys the TARDIS, it's almost like a.
Was it Maxius? Was the character that the Sixth Doctor that
that Colin played.
Colin played? Was it Maxius? Is that his name?
It was Max something. Yeah.
Maxius or Maximus? Maximus. Anyway, I saw a tweet that after this came out that. So I wonder what message the Sixth Doctor was trying to leave for himself by taking Maxius's
Maxil.
Maxil. That's it, Maxil. I'm trying to make it a Roman name again. Maxil's face. What message was he telling himself there?
Be a strong guy. Be firm.
Be brash.
Be brash.
Didn't
Be
Romana have some sort of more underlying reason as to
we were
why
talking
she
about
took
former cast members. I completely forgot about Romana.
Yeah. Didn't she have a statement as to why she used Princess? I can't remember her name, but the gal from Astra, Princess Astra's face. She had a.
She liked it.
Was that simply
that's
what
pretty
she
much it.
said?
I think that was
okay.
pretty much it. You can't go around wearing that body. Why not? It's in use. But we'll never see her again.
I think they went later to try to retcon why in Big Finish. Just looking at quick look at the wiki.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
For Romana?
for Romana, yeah,
Maybe that's where I got it from.
that could be.
She liked it. It would be kind of cool to have the Doctor walk up to somebody and go, I like your face. I'll have to file that one away. Might come back to that. And just have them go, what? And we're all going, ah! I don't.
Well, he files away the desktops in the TARDIS. Actually, the TARDIS files away the desktops.
I don't think he does.
And obviously, he can revisit faces.
Revisiting a few of the old favorites. So yeah, I am completely willing to admit that maybe I'm reading way too much into this because of my initial explanation.
I like your postulation is up until the Davros thing, but it's interesting.
Hybrid. I liked this episode. I liked it a lot, and I think I think one of the things I really liked about it is unlike Robot of Sherwood, which I'm going to pick on just a little bit, which came when it did, which I think we all felt was maybe a little too early in the season for that break in tension. That we got Deep Breath, which was heavy,
Into the Dalek.
and then we got Into the Dalek, which was
Heavy.
but then we got Robot of Sherwood, which
Yeah.
was a much lighter in tone, and then we got Listen, which was really heavy. So maybe they felt like they needed to put it there, but it just felt a little too early.
Yeah, this
in the
was
storytelling
placed
for
well,
season 8.
and I did like the aspect that it was a bit of a breather in the middle of the series.
But then it still went to the darker aspects of it and got heavier near the end.
It did
of
at the end.
which I
Yeah,
liked.
yeah.
Which balances, because Robot of Sherwood has some of those things, but not in such great depth, where it almost feels out of place in the scope of the entire season.
Now, I'm going to
And
get
this one doesn't.
Maybe it's just that the season in general is riding such a high that it's not that season 8 was bad, but it just feels like they're doing it so much better.
Oh, this season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Consistently.
I'm going to get a little pedantic here, and the only reason is because I just learned this week that Vikings, I don't remember where I learned this, but I just learned this week that Vikings didn't actually have horns on their helmets.
What?
They didn't. That was something that was created it's an American thing, and I think it was, I think it started in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and it might even have been around
maybe
the time
it was
that
a
opera was
Space helmet
becoming...
for a cow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was becoming an operatic thing, and they were using it in opera and things like that. But it was romanticized, and that was added on to make them more warlike or animalistic. But that they've never ever been able to, in any of the Norse history, show that they ever had any sort of, like, even the wings that you see on Thor and Odin's helmets. No one ever had. No Vikings ever had anything on their helmet. They had those peaked metal helmets that you see that are typical. And there was a few of them that just had that, but none of them actually in history had horns on their helmets. So I just learned that this week, and then I watched this episode and I went, now that's going to bother me because now it makes it less historically accurate.
Maybe the costume department was sitting there gluing horns on, going, "Damn Americans!"
People are going to complain if there aren't these horns on here. It's not accurate.
And somebody went,
Now we got to put the horns on.
You know that's
now
not that's not historically accurate. I know. We're going to get calls if they're not there.
Don't worry, we left half of them without horns.
It's a compromise.
It was a compromise, but I did. I saw
Maybe
the
that's
first
the plan.
guy shows
We're
up with
slowly
the
gonna weed
horns.
the horns out.
The first guy shows up with the horns, and I thought, "Oh man, why didn't if I hadn't heard that this week, it wouldn't bother me." So there you go. Now maybe everybody else will have that in the back of their head. Oh, that's not accurate.
I don't know. We're going to take a historical tidbit from the guy that doesn't know about the
I
Seventh
don't know where I
Age.
heard that. It seems like I heard it on the radio, which is odd, but
Was it a John Tesh knowledge for your life
that
moment?
would have been the only thing that I could think of I'd have been listening, because when I take the kids to school, that's what's on. Actually, when I'm coming home from dropping Mason off, that's what's on.
Did you know Viking helmets, no horns?
Anyway, or it could have been.
Seems like a John Tesh
It
thing.
could have been. It could have been on Wait, Don't Tell Me. Now I think about it, because I listened to that too on the podcast on that. That's an NPR show. That makes more sense that it would come from something from NPR. But anyway, hope I didn't ruin that for anybody who goes back and watches it and go, "Oh, they have horns."
Nah.
That's so ingrained now that Vikings had
yeah.
horns.
I thought it was well directed. Did you know that the director of this? I don't know his name. Maybe Keith still has IMDb pulled up where he could pull it up. The lead singer, lead guitarist of the Vapors,
I don't know who the Vapors are.
turning Japanese.
Oh.
The lead guitarist from that group is the guy that directed this episode.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
That's cool.
and I thought it was really well directed. I loved that opening shot of the village. No, don't go there.
No, I was just thinking of something that Caitlin had said that I had wished had happened too. But yesterday we watched, because we were catching.
Yeah, that guy.
We were catching up Holly and Mason, so we watched the two-parter, the Under the Lake Before the Flood, yesterday. So that because Caitlin and I both seen it. Yeah, we had issues with Holly, but she already has issues with the reality of time travel, even though it's not real. She has a problem with cause and effect, and she always has. So then when you introduce an episode that has the bootstrap paradox in it, and she goes, that's why time travel doesn't work. I told her, I said, you're going to have a bunch of questions after this episode, and I'm not even going to answer them because I already know where you're at on time travel. So you're just going to have to
come down on Back to the Future.
Accept this one. And she doesn't think that much about Back to the Future because it's just a fun comedy to her. This is Doctor Who, so it's a little more serious science to her. Anyway, so we watched those two episodes yesterday, and Caitlin had made the mention. It's just I really like Capaldi playing the guitar on the opening theme, and she says it just needs to be that way from now on.
I wished it would.
She said because that's so much the 12th Doctor's character now that needs to be his theme song, and they need to include it. And so as soon as it started, she goes, Because it was absent.
I honestly forgot to check for it. I
was
didn't even think
absent.
about it
Yeah,
until we
I
sat
thought
down
of
at the
that,
table
too.
and went, "Oh, I wonder if anybody noticed."
If we hadn't just watched it yesterday, we probably would have not forgotten, not remembered it. But Caitlin was very distraught that
I remember.
they had taken.
I was disappointed.
They had taken the.
Well, now
guitar
it's
back
not a
now.
good episode. The whole thing is, I retract
The
everything
whole
I
rest
said
of
about
the
it.
season should have been that theme.
Oh, yeah.
Oh well.
Rest of his run. Jumping back to the director, the reason why it feels
They
like the
probably
Doctor's
can't pay him
meditation.
for the music. So he'd get a credit for that at that point,
That's
wouldn't he?
probably true.
He directed the Doctor's meditation too, which is why tonally it kind of feels similar to.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the opening shot where they pan down and the guy's on the horn, and it was like, when did the dragon show up? It looks like How to Train Your Dragon. And again, an amazing job of making this village. I was reminded a little bit of Kinda. Is it Kinda or Snake Dance, where they're on the planet and we've got really just the one street in the bazaar.
Kinda, yeah.
It felt a lot like that, where I know it's one street in the bazaar. You know it's one street in the bazaar. We all know this.
Oh, yes.
But it looks very well put together, like it's a big, Mos Eisley style hubbubbing place, as opposed to one corridor of tents. And I thought the visual trickery I thought was in good effect this week.
Of course, now we have the money to build an entire village. But
But we didn't. We
Didn't need to,
because we have to pay for the non-robot things.
yes.
Spacesuits.
Yeah. And those looked practical. Those looked like they were not,
Oh,
Another thing we didn't talk about was the open of this. I thought the cold open was really neat.
Yeah.
It was very different. It was one of those moments where we jump right into the action of something that's already happening. We have a really good Dr. Clara moment where the doctor's being very, I don't even know what to say. It's almost uncaring, but he's not, because he's doing this.
He's in juggling mode.
It seems very chaotic, but when he finally brings her in and materializes and gets it out and throws it on, it's like all of that was calculated. It's something like, it was like complete chaos until that moment, and you realize it was all part of the plan.
Yeah.
It was like, that was so neat. It was so cool how they pulled that off, and they had just solved another problem somewhere else that was happening, and I liked that. It was cool.
and the only reason they got stuck there was they went out to wipe his shoe.
To wipe whatever that worm was off his shoe, and then the Vikings come with the sword.
The dismay on his face, too. Oh, Vikings. No, I don't have it in me today. Which brings up a whole new host of questions,
and
like,
then
why?
Putting the glasses on. You know why we're not going with you? Because, and he puts the glasses on. He takes the glasses off, snaps them in half, and he goes, "We're going with the Vikings."
All right, the more I talk about it, the more I enjoy this one.
It's just that's the other thing that we...
It's one of those things on recall. I think of all the great moments, and
Yeah.
the sum of the moments makes it a good episode.
Something else that we've gotten more of, I think, in 12's era are those kind of, not necessarily cold opens specifically, but the joining an adventure already in progress, or at least the knowledge that there are other adventures going on. I mean, we've got that a little bit with Matt's run as well, but just the fact that we're really calling to the fact that we've had a whole...
Well, even in
range of
Robots to
stuff.
Sherwood, we had that montage of adventures that had happened too, because when they're locked up,
that
they're
was
talking about.
that was the caretaker.
I thought when they were locked up in the thing,
Yeah, they're
Oh,
chained to the
talked about-
pillar.
Yeah, there wasn't a montage, but
Oh, I thought they showed us.
Oh,
clips.
no.
Am I thinking?
I'm thinking of a
Caretaker?
different, because they were in chains in Robots too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the
where she
scene
comes back
specifically.
and she's all tanned.
Oh, that was Caretaker.
It was
Yeah.
Caretaker,
Yeah, okay,
right?
yeah,
Because
Yeah, they were talking about things in Robot.
You're
and
right.
Sherwood.
the
You're
doctor and Claire are chained to that
But-
pillar on that desert planet,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's what I'm
okay.
crossing
That's what
over.
you're
You're
thinking.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay, but what I like about as you do, what I like about the fact that that's doing is it doesn't bottle the two seasons up into one narrative.
It gives a lot of room.
of. In fact, the Doctor and Clara's growth is accepted because they were so prickly there at the very beginning. It was a rough start to the relationship. That by doing it in the way that they're doing it, really establishes a very long-term Clara and 12 stint that's happened
Yeah.
here, and it makes it more plausible or believable that they are very in sync now with each other,
Yeah.
and I like that. Yeah.
Agreed.
I wonder if there's how much impact do you think Big Finish had on this? Do you think there was a phone call and they said, "Steve, yo, need a favor. When you're plotting out the season, can you leave us some holes?"
I'm sure the book people call him up and say that too.
Yeah.
Just so that we don't have to do.
Well, because it's
52
BBC
audios.
books, I have more of an inclination to think that it's not Big Finish doing that. It's the book writers going,
Yeah.
hey, can we have a little wiggle room here? But Big Finish, obviously, eventually down the road will benefit from that. So
I'm just assuming that somebody somewhere, maybe it is the book people.
I think it's the
We'd
books.
like to
I
be
think
able to
because
insert a couple of
that's
stories
actually
here.
licensed through BBC. I think that's probably more of
Well, and I just saw,
or that's more directly involved with the BBC.
Right.
Where I mean, Big Finish does have a license, but they're not beholden to anything.
Yeah.
Whereas the books probably are a little more so because they
Especially because they're doing current.
Yeah.
oh yeah, and I
And
just
the comic
saw,
run and-
it came out back in September, maybe August, that there's going to be a book coming out in December telling what's her face's story, Arya, Maisie Williams' story.
A Shielder. It's
A Shielder,
an easy
a Shielder.
name. I don't know why you guys can't remember that now.
A Shielder, her story between the two episodes,
Oh,
between this week and next week's.
that'll be neat.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a story of Martha, we'll be okay.
Well, I
Sometimes-
didn't look to see who was writing it, so I don't know.
Sometimes you get a fun thing. Sometimes you get
Story
about
of
that.
Martha.
How is her name spelled? ASH.
LDER. A Shielder. I think I even went a Shielder again. It's a Shielder.
There's no I.
I think there should be an I with a shield.
ASHILDER. A Shielder.
Just curious. I'm checking something real quick.
What's coming up on the schedule, Sean?
Coming up next week on the schedule, Friday Night Who, the 23rd of October, is Tom Baker and Louise Jameson in The Face of Evil, and which hopefully will pair up well with the following week's episode, The Woman Who Lived, pairing up with this one, which I hope goes well for me. Not so much for you guys. And then we will also be sharing our thoughts on the newest and just released. It releases, I believe it's this week.
On Friday. The 23rd.
Candy Jar Books publication.
You bet what I did last week.
Yeah, I did.
I said 25th last week.
Lethbridge Stewart, Beast of Fang Rock by Andy Frankenmalum. And so this will be a spoiler-free review of that, so that you still have a chance to go out and read it. And thanks to the author and publisher, we will have a couple of copies of that book to give away on the show.
Yay!
So thank you, Andy, for that. And if you want a book, you got to listen. So definitely join us for that. The following week, we did have a change in the programming. Originally, we were going to do Day of the Doctor for Friday Night Who, but we decided we were going to, Glenn decided it's Halloween. We should do something Halloween-y. And we said, all right. We got to throw him a bone every now and then. So we're going to do Blink and Listen, which don't have anything to do with each other other than they're both kind of scary. So we thought, yeah, that's appropriate. And then the following show that week will be the Zygon Invasion. Zygon Invasion.
Yeah.
I'm still getting used to these titles, Invasion and Inversion. But rest of the schedule will be posted at least up through the end of Season 9, which I have not... Still tinkering, still trying to pin down my thoughts on what's going to fit best with that finale. And I have a couple of ideas, but I want to get a little bit closer before I nail it down. So you'll see the revised schedule up on the website. And speaking of websites...
Please go to our website, www.travelingthevortex.com, and there you'll find lots of links to things that you can purchase from Amazon.com, from Entertainment Earth, from Audible, and, of course, most importantly, become a Patreon subscriber, because every little bit of help you can give us as being a subscriber goes right back into this podcast so that we can continue to bring you these excellent episodes week to week.
And thank you for coming and listening to us and downloading us week to week and sticking with us through all 251 episodes and shows.
All right. So is there anything else we need to talk about before we close this one? If that's going to do it for this week, until next week, I'm Glenn.
I'm Sean.
I'm Keith.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Be seeing you.
You have been listening to Traveling the Vortex. Doctor Who and all of its associated programs are owned and trademarked by the BBC. No infringement is intended or implied.